Alright, today we're going to work on your upper body techniques. So we're going to work on a few different ranges, a few different ideas, a few ways to put a few of the different ranges together, so if you catch someone a little farther away and they break in, how to use the other hand or the other side of your body to kind of recover. And in the same way, I'll show you a few ideas with your feet, where if you start to fail with your hands, you can move your feet to recover even if you fail with your hands. You want to keep the guy from getting to the ball if you have the ball, so you want to be able to kind of keep him back from being able to grab the ball or come up underneath and get underneath your arms. So we use a few techniques to stop that, and then you want to be able to use those techniques just to keep people back as you're running. And you can use these for just about anything. So once you learn them, hopefully you can come up with a few different ideas as to how to use these in maybe ways that I can't even think of. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to use is called the leaf parry. And this is just a basic parry. And all you're going to do is use the palm of your hand. So you want to use the heel of your palm here. So if he's pushing forward, I want to use the heel of my palm. So what you can do with this is just have the person try to touch you. Have them try to touch your shoulder or try to reach for the area where the ball would be, so that you can practice just using that hand. So what we have are 4 different leaf parries. We have here, 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 and here. Alright, so towards you, it's here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So if you're running and you've got the ball, you've got all these different ways to be able to block someone. Right? No matter where they come from. You've got to keep in mind, when someone's charging towards you, even the slightest amount of redirection of that force that they have coming towards you can throw them off balance. And you don't need to throw them off balance and have them go flying through the air. You need to throw them off balance just for long enough to slip past them. Right? So this is very valuable for something like that. So if he's moving forward, I can just take him slightly off the line that he's coming forward on and get him just a little bit off balance, and obviously he's just past me, so I can move past him. If I need to, I can move past him. Alright? The idea with these is you want to use these at the appropriate range. So with the leaf parry, you can kind of use this at any range, because you can kind of bend your arms closer, farther away, whatever you need. So this one's very versatile. There are some that are more appropriate for closer range, but those are more appropriate when you're not ready, when you're not prepared. The leaf parry, even if he's closer, I can still use that. If I'm unprepared though, I don't have time to get my hand out here. That's why we'll be using some things like this rotor parry, to get him off of us. But you'll notice how I'm already using the leaf parry here afterwards to get him off of me. Alright, so that's how this is going to help you. You're not only going to be able to get past the guy, but you're going to be able to turn him or move him in a way where he can't recover very quickly to try to catch up with you. You think like the head is kind of the steering wheel of the body. You can't really hit people in the head when you're playing football, but what you can do is use behind the elbow here so that the head goes that way. If the head's going that way and I'm going this way, it's very difficult for him to recover and turn around in time to catch up with me if I take off in like a full sprint. Alright, so with these leaf parries, you can practice, if he's trying to reach out, just kind of taking it on these lines past you. Just kind of skimming past him this way. And you'll notice I'm just using that forward flanking type step like we were doing before. Alright, so you can use these. If you're a little bit lower, you can just use the regular ones. If you're a little bit higher, when you go low, you want to use these outside ones. Now it doesn't matter if you hit exactly with that spot on your hand, but that's where you get the most force behind it. So if he's pushing and I hit with that, I get a lot of force. I can even use my arm to do that, which we'll cover later in the forum section. Alright, so these leaf parries, if I'm using my replacement step, or if I'm using my L footwork, I can get around him. This is more long range. So you think like when you're a little farther away from a guy, you can kind of reach out with these hands and control it. Now, I can also use this as a secondary move. So I move in here, and then I push with that hand. Right, you got to be careful not to make it look like you're just going out there hitting guys. So we've got to use this real smoothly if we're going to try to use it as a defensive measure, or even as an offensive measure to get guys off balance. You don't want to make it look like you're hitting the guy, so make sure that you're using this correctly so that it doesn't look like you're just punching everybody that comes at you. So like I said, you can use this as a secondary move. If we're doing the close range, we're doing the rotor parry. If we're doing the middle range, we're using the forearm. Just kind of pushing with the forearm, shoving with the forearm. It's a very kind of padded, like meaty area, so it's an easy place to push with. You're not going to really bruise yourself up to that. So you can use that as your primary motion here, and then use this as your secondary motion to get him off balance a little bit. So if he's moving in, I can just kind of use that to get past him. And the forearm and the elbow look very similar, but it's a very different motion. The forearm kind of shoves, so it's already a push, and then this makes it even more of a push. The elbow is a slip. It's slippery. I don't push him. I slip through this way. It's like an umbrella, how water kind of falls off an umbrella. That's the idea. The forearm is like running into like a brick wall. I'm just pushing him. Right? That's the difference between those. The parry can be both. The parry can be very heavy, or it can just be very light. And depending on where you want the guy to go, that's how much force you put. If I want him to go that way, when he moves, I push him hard. All right? If I want him to continue to go that way, which is very beneficial for me in some situations, or if I'm trying to do defense and I want to maybe put this guy in front of another guy that's coming at me this way, if he's coming here and there's another guy there, if I do this, I've now blocked both of those guys at the same exact time just using body mechanics. Right? So the second thing that we're going to do is a little bit of footwork with these. So if I'm here and he's coming towards me, I can use my replacement step and use that leaf parry. And you can use both hands if you had to. If you've got the ball in one hand, you're going to have to learn how to use just one hand. If you've got both hands free and you can kind of move in, or if you're trying to get the ball out of someone else's hands, you can use this same idea. You can use this leaf parry to get comfortable with reaching in and trying to knock that ball out of their hands, or whatever you want to do with it. So we have the replacement step here. You take off. We have the L retreat here. And take off. We have the L step. I'm taking off running. And then I think the only other thing we had really was the rooting type stance. So if I'm here and that guy reaches out and starts to get a hold of me maybe, and I use this leaf parry and I root him, I can really get him off balance, because he's already leaning forward. So if he's leaning forward and I end up kind of leaning forward, if I establish that stance and use, you'll notice I'm doing the same thing I was on the outside here. I'm pushing against right at the elbow. That bend of the elbow there is going to take him off balance. All right? If you're on the outside and you get behind the elbow, it's really good at directing the body. On the inside, if you get that elbow, you'll notice I'm turning his body. So if I'm in here and I get caught up, if I use that and then try to slip past, you can see it turns him far enough where it's harder for him to recover. All right? All right, so the second thing is your forearm strike. So the forearm strikes, similar idea. If he's here, outside and inside, lower, outside, and inside here, this is a tricky one. You don't really want to swing through this way with this one. So with this one, if you had to go that low, you might want to just go ahead and use the hand. All right, because you don't really want to swing this way. I would rather use this hand if I had to do that. Kind of swing out that way. If you got the ball, that's not an option. So be careful with that one. You might want to use something else. So with the forearm here, I can just kind of push, right? So how you guys use this, like I said, is up to you. But if he's coming forward, I can use this to just kind of get his arm away from me. So if I've got a guy that's kind of reaching for the ball, I can kind of use that to wipe. This is really good for guys that are coming with both arms. Because with one palm, I can't really think that that's going to stop both arms if somebody's kind of reaching to tackle. But if he's arms and I wipe off with the forearm, I can slip right past that, and that forearm has that strength of your feet behind it when you push. The palm strike is more of like a, just the weight of your arm. But this forearm strike is kind of like I'm pushing with my feet too. I'm pushing with my leg strength too. So as he comes forward, I can really wipe him off with that. So this is kind of like windshield wipers. This way and this way, this way and this way. And then outside, you can kind of cut out this way. All right. So if I'm here, I can kind of cut out that way. All right. And the same thing. If he does that and I wipe it out, well, I wipe it out. Say I'm here and he's coming for the ball. I wipe that out, and then I can take this same hand and check behind that elbow to make sure that he can't get to me. And we'll cover the checking thing in a second. So, like I said, you can wipe that out and then get it here. Or if he's low, I can wipe it out and then get it at the shoulder or the elbow. Both are very good off-balancing points. All right, and you're not doing anything that's illegal here by just defending against using your arms. And it doesn't have to be quite so obvious that you're doing it. If he comes this way and I just shove this arm down, it just looks like I'm pushing my shoulder forward, which is a good thing to do. But I'm actually using my arm here. And I can use my shoulder here to push him off before I take off running. All right? So, if we're out here, and like I said, he pushes forward, if I move out of the way, I can use that elbow or that forearm to kind of wipe it out of the way. And then I can do a secondary motion with the hand to kind of make sure that that keeps going in that direction and that he doesn't turn around and get towards me here. All right. So with a little bit of footwork here, if I'm standing with this foot forward or moving forward in this way and he comes in, I can wipe out and take off. All right. If he's coming from this side, I can wipe that off. Like I said, think about this like windshield wipers. Just kind of wipe away from the body in whatever direction you want to go, wipe the other way. If he's coming this way, wipe that way. Right? If he's coming forward and I need to go this way, wipe that way. If he's coming forward and there's a guy here and a guy here, I can't go either way. So that means when he comes forward, I need to get him out of the way so that I can continue on that same path. That's a very good time to use that secondary strike. I need to open up a door right where that guy is. I can't go this way, I can't flank this way. I need to go right straight ahead here. So as he's coming forward, as I start to push that, I can continue to move him through with that. All right? Be careful with these not to slip right in and crack somebody in the face. I don't want to get you guys penalized at all. So let's do a few of the footwork patterns very slowly with this. If I'm here, either side, I can push with this one, or I can push with this one, and we're doing the replacement step. All right. If I want to do maybe the L retreat there. If I want to do the L step there. All right. Even if you have the ball in your hand, if you do this really, really hard, you might knock the ball out of your hand. You want to be really careful of that. But if you don't have the intention of hitting really hard, if you're just going to kind of slip, you can still kind of use the shoulder instead of the forearm, but use the same motion. So if he's here and I kind of slip, I can knock him back and out of the way, just using that part of the shoulder and a little bit of the elbow. You just want to be careful not to just start, hitting people. All right, so I think that covers all of our footwork with the form. And I'm just giving you ideas. You guys can use this any way you want with any other footwork or any other technique. I'm just trying to give you a few tips. So let's go ahead and